Good afternoon and welcome to Fast Horses Today. Today is Sunday. It is May 11th and it is also Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I know there are a lot of subscribers, female subscribers to Fast Horses Today, and I was happy to find that out. And if your mom's happy Mother's Day out there, I hope you're enjoying a wonderful day. And if you're going to bet some horses, maybe, we'll get some winners for you. So again, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and have a wonderful day. So today at Santa Anita, they do have the horses running there on Mother's Day. And, let's get started here. I do like a couple horses, and I do like a pick five ticket, a late pick five ticket today at Santa Anita. So let's get started in the fifth race. I'm going to skip over the first several. I'm going to go with the fifth race, which has an approximate post time of 3:08 Pacific. So that's 5:08 here in the Central Time Zone. So here in the Central Time Zone, you'll be finished up with your Mother's Day brunches and maybe lunches and things like that, and maybe be ready to get some winners over at Santa Anita. So let's get started. Fifth race is a mile on the grass, and this is a starter allowance with also a $50,000 tag condition on there. So if you don't meet the starter conditions, you can put your horse in for 50, and you'll get in this race. A nice field signed on here. I've got three horses here I'm going to put in. There's a big scratch in the race. The favorite was scratched. The 5-horse was not running today. I wish he was, because I wasn't going to put him. But I got three horses here I'm going to put in. I'm going to first put the one who is Let Seamus Go for Brian Corner and Jose Valdivia. Now, I like this horse. I like the pattern of this horse. This horse had been running in special weights in his entire career. And, ran some nice races, but then ultimately couldn't get it done. They put this horse in for a maiden 50,000 claimer. This horse ended up wiring a field and winning nicely. So next step, starter allowance condition. I like the fact this horse, they didn't give up on this horse. They were running this horse in special weights. Finally, they got realistic, put this horse in. Maybe it's that light bulb angle that's been talked about many times. Horse comes off a win after, several maiden attempts and can duplicate that. So 8-1, I think Let Seamus Go is live here. I also like the 2-horse was Mr. Leisure for Tim Yakteen, Antonio Fresu. Now, I've bet this horse a couple times. This horse is a 4-year-old out of by Distorted Humor, so I always loved the Distorted Humors. This horse, had been running at this level the last couple times, had been running in turf sprints, actually, for several races, and his last race was on a dirt route. So horses run well, certainly it has a chance here at 4-1. So we'll put the 2-horse, Mr. Leisure. And then finally, I'm going to put the 4-horse, who is Anan, for Alexis Barbe and Hector Barrios. Now, I'd given this horse out last time this horse won. He delivered for us with a big, convincing win in the maiden special weight ranks and the Calbred ranks. So, Anan has been a horse who's run some really nice races. They switched over to Hector Barrios. He made the difference on the turf. This horse running a huge race, breaking his maiden. So in this horse's career, he has run one time in a maiden 50,000 open. So that's what qualifies him in for this starter allowance. Nice placement of horses by Alexis Barbe. We've talked about her before. She's a nice trainer who has been around for a long time. I know that she worked in the Charlie Whittingham barn for many years. I think she was the exercise rider for Ferdinand, if I'm not mistaken. She had done that, many years ago. But anyway, she's a nice trainer, limited starters, but she does a nice job with her horses. This horse is 7-2, and can certainly take on this field and win. So we've got the 1, 2, and the 4 in the fifth race. All right, now let's go over to the sixth race of the day. 6 races a mile on the dirt. This is $16,000 claimers. So just open claimers, no condition here. And, again, competitive field of horses here. I'm going to put 3 horses in here. I think, these horses should, get this pick 5 moving along. I do have a win bet also on a horse. So I'm going to put the 3 who's Atomic Drop, Jeff Mullins, Acel Espinoza. In reading the forum today, I was really surprised to see Acel Espinoza's 0 for 20 at this meet. So he had a nice meet earlier, in the winter-spring meeting at Santa Anita, but, it's gotten off to a very slow start here. So that's something to watch on these jocks. I'm going to give Ace Espinoza a shot here. This horse is 2-1, so it's no surprise. Atomic Drop has been running at Santa Anita, since this meet started. It's, run some nice races, certainly fits here. So we'll put this horse in. But again, I've got questions because I just wonder, Ace Espinoza, so that's why I'm putting 3 horses in here. I'm also going to put the 5-horse being Ready to Pounce, John Sadler, Hector Barrios. Barrios has been riding this horse, many times here. Horse comes off he's got two starts recently. Comes off a win in a $25,000 claiming race. They took a couple pounds off, so you could have gotten him for $22,500. But anyway, the horse ran nicely with a nice speed figure. So I think that race alone puts this horse in here. They tried the starter allowance conditions last time, which was a tougher group. Not exactly sure what happened to this horse. He kind of just trailed the field. They're dropping this horse now to 16. So I'm wondering, panic drop? Probably. But this horse still merits a consideration here. He's 4-1 today, so I'm going to put him in here, see if he's got some ability left. And then finally, I'm going to put the 7 horse, who is Manchild. George Papapadromo, the conditioner here, and Diego Herrera takes the call. I'm going to bet Manchild to win as well. I'm going to put a win bet on Manchild. This horse is 5-1 in the program. I like this horse's last several races. He's been running in sprints. And, I'm going to say that I feel like just watching the film here, the way this horse has sprinted, I think will translate well to the 2 turns. Now, surprisingly enough, a 5-year-old horse with 16 starts has never been a route of ground. Doesn't show any route races here. It's been primarily sprinting. So breeding says the horse should be fine at route distances. And, at a mile at Santa Anita, old adage, we've talked about this many times. Charlie Whittingham said, you want to test your horse, not sure if he can go a distance, try him at a mile, him or her at a mile at Santa Anita. If they can't do a mile there, then, they're probably not a distance horse. So I think Manchild could do the distance, 5-1. Diego Herrera, looks to me, just go get the lead, kid, go get the lead. Herrera also has having a tough Hollywood meet here. I think Herrera is a capable rider, and he does show it at times. He's just got to get better here, and we'll take a shot here with the 7-horse Manchild with a win bet. But for pick 5 purposes, I'm going to put the 3, 5, and 7. All right, now let's go to the next race of the day, being the 7th race. This is the feature of the day. This is the Cinema $100,000 mile on the grass. These are 3-year-old boys. Now, the Cinema's been running at different distances. I think they had tried this as a long distance race a couple years ago at 1.25 miles. I'm wondering why they didn't just keep that. But anyway, it's at 1 mile on the grass today, $100,000 race. Got a field signed on. There's 6 horses in this field. I've got 2 of them here I'm going to put in. I think one of these 2 will be best, and we'll move this ticket along. I'm going to put the 1, Artislas. Now, I've liked Artislas since he started his career back in the summer last year at Del Mar. This horse started out with 3 wins, but, unofficially 3 wins. He had gotten DQ'd in a very questionable call by the Santa Anita stewards last fall over at Santa Anita in this Grade 3 Zuma Beach. But this horse has 2 Grade 3 wins. 1 got taken down there. This horse certainly has class. Jeff Mullen's trainer. Mullen's been doing everything right. Wherever he's training, wherever he's sending horses, they've been running well. Artislas is 2-1 here. Raylu Gutierrez takes the call. Gutierrez has been on this horse several times. Has won with this horse. Last time we saw this horse had a little bit of a break. From late last year to this year. Has 1 start here at the Santa Anita meet. Ran in the $100,000 John Shear Stakes down the hill. I thought he ran a very nice race, was a favorite that day. Ended up getting beat by a nice horse in Supersonic Blue. But, he was right there on the wire, ran a nice race. Should set him up for a nice trip here and a nice race at 1 mile. That's the 1 horse, Artislas. Then I'm also going to put the 6 horse, who is the program favorite, and Freedom's Not Free, from Mark Glatt. Antonio Fresu. This horse 3-2 in the program. It's definitely merits a high consideration here. This horse has 5 starts, 2 wins, and 2/3. 2 out of 3 of this horse's wins have come over at the Santa Anita grass course. Now, this horse started his career on the dirt. Ran just even races. When they moved this horse over to the turf, Mark Glatt found something with 2 wins out of 3 starts. Including a win in the Pasadena, which was earlier this spring at 1 mile on the grass. Nice speed figures. The horse definitely merits favoritism here. So we'll put the 1 and the 6 in the Cinema Stakes. All right, now let's go over to the next race, being the 8th race. 8th race is 1 mile on the dirt. This is a first level allowance race, an open allowance race. A couple scratches here, which narrows this field down to a field of 5. The 1 is scratched, and the 4 scratch. 4 being a big scratch, that was the favorite in Canada Gate. I'm going to put 2 horses in, and I do have a win bet I'm going to make here. I'm going to put the 2 in who is self-sufficient for Michael McCarthy. Michael McCarthy puts Kazushi Kimura on the horse. Kimura rode the horse last time. Some changes here for this horse. They're putting blinkers on the horse, and they're also putting this horse 2 turns. This horse hasn't been running 2 turns yet, so it'll be his first time. As I mentioned, Kimura takes the call. He had the horse last time. In watching this horse's film, he's had 2 starts here this year. He had to come off a serious layoff. Last time we saw this horse was in October of 23, and this horse had a long layoff up until March of 25 this year. So this horse came out, first time out, ran in a sprint race, which was a really fast sprint race that day, won by Booksmart, and also ran with Momad, who's in this race. I just thought that was a race to get this horse over the track, get him going again off a long layoff. Ran an even race, ran just fine. Next time out, they put this horse back into a sprint race. Turned out it was a sloppy track. Horse broke from the towards the inside, ended up getting the lead and fighting for the lead, for a good part of the race. Ran a nice race, ended up coming 3rd that day. I thought it was a very nice race. He showed a lot of toughness in fighting for the lead on that sloppy track. Not sure if he liked the slop, but, ran over it. So I think 2 turns will be much easier for this horse. I'm going to make a win bet on the 2 self-sufficient at 9-2. I don't know that we're going to get 9-2 because of the scratches, but, might get a decent price. We'll make a win bet on the 2 self-sufficient. And then also for pick 5 purposes, I'm going to put the 5 horse, who is Brazenly. Now, Brazenly comes out of the Dan Escarati barn. Escarati, small trainer, has, just, a handful of horses in the barn. I think he's a, capable trainer. His horse has come out live. He's got Tiago Pereira on the horse today. Now, this horse is probably his best horse. This horse has shown some nice races, and he just, keeps running up into some buzzsaws when he gets out there, and has been running, in these allowance conditions and running nicely. Came 3rd to Eagle's Flight. That's Flightline's younger brother, and, a tough race that day. He ran a nice race. Next, he followed that up with a 2nd to Extensive. Extensive is a very nice horse out of the McCarthy barn, who I think we're going to hear from in Stakes Company. He ended up coming 2nd to that horse. And last time they tried to turf, he ended up running 2nd at Clouseau. Now, Clouseau is a really nice Calbred who's won a few races here this past winter, spring. So again, Brazenly's running up against some tough horses. We're going to give this horse a shot and put him in. There's only 5 horses. Going to give him Brazenly a shot. We'll see. Is he just running up against tough horses and this might be a little easier? Or has Brazenly just become a nibbler? Nibbler meaning, he just comes 2nd and 3rd and, collects checks. But, we'll put Brazenly in here for pick 5 purposes. We'll have the 2 and the 5. All right, now let's go to the last race of the day. Last race is the 9th race. They're running 6 furlongs on the flat grass. And it is a first level allowance for Calbreds. And these are 3-year-olds and up, and these are boys. Open race here. I'm going to put 5 horses in the race. Hoping we got a live ticket. We've got 5 horses in coverage. It's a good spot to be in. We'll start out with the 1 horse Smiling Beast for Brian Corner. Ayuso takes the call. This horse had come off, it had been running on the dirt, and they tried the turf last time. Ended up coming and running in a race with several of these horses come out of that same race, won by Private Gem. In watching the film, they ran down the hill that day at 6.5. This horse seemed to just kind of be playing around, on the turf. I don't know, just getting comfortable. I don't know what it was, but he just seemed to be kind of playing around on that, during that race. I don't know if it was just the surface switch or whatnot, and he wasn't sure what he should be doing there on the grass. But I thought the horse, in his playful way, still ended up running nicely. And maybe, that was an education for him. He's 3-1 today. I think Smiling Beast, should be tough here. Going to also put the 3 horse was Catman Sue, Jeff Mullins. Mullins got some, several live ones today. Hector Barrios on the call. Always a good spot for Hector Barrios to be running on the turf. These guys have certainly paired together and done some nice work. He also comes out of the Private Gem race, where I thought he ran a nice race there. This horse certainly fits here at 9-2, and, certainly one to include in the pick 5. That would be the 3, Catman Sue. Going to put the 4 horse was Sir Rocket for Neil Drysdale. Drysdale puts Mike Smith on the horse. Smith is kind of sneaky, having a nice Hollywood meet here. In a limited amount of starts, he's got 10 rides, 4 wins. So that's pretty darn good, and then 3/3. So Smith riding pretty well. He's 4-1 here. This horse has shown some nice races over the turf. He also comes out of that private gem race. I'm going to give him a pass last time. He came out of the 1 hole in a 12-horse field. Tough spot to be in down the hill. Kind of fought for the lead, and ran it, just showed some ability. So I think he could improve off that one. And then we'll go to the 8-horse. 8-horse being Known Idea for John Sadler, Antonio Frey-Sue. This horse been running, on in and out of grass races. Has win over a couple wins over the dirt. So they're kind of using this condition here. They ran out of the dirt condition in California, so they could run him here. He having not won on the turf yet, so they're trying to take advantage of that rule. Known Idea, ridden by Frey-Sue. I think that's definitely a improvement. He's had been ridden by Tyler Bay's last couple times. Now he's coming off a layoff, pretty good layoff. Last time we saw him was in late October of last year. And, Sadler definitely can get horses off the layoff. And, as I've preached, many times, that I think that good trainers can certainly get horses off a layoff going into turf sprints. So, horse been working out nicely. 5-1 could certainly be dangerous here. And then finally we'll put Uncle Chili. Uncle Chili, trained by Mike Pipey. Kazushi Kimura takes the call. These guys have, they've done some nice work together when Kimura rides for Mike Pipey. This horse ran a huge race in early March in this same level at this flat 6-furlong grass course. Big race, big speed figure. He followed that up with a coming out of the private gem race and, ran down the hill and maybe just, I don't know, didn't like it there. I don't know what happened there, but, we'll kind of put a line in through that race and give this horse another chance here. He's 7-2, so certainly no secret there. So in the last race, we've got the 1, 3, 4, 8, and 9. All right, now let's recap the day and recap the tickets. Okay, so for today, Mother's Day, Sunday, May 11th, we've got a pick 5 ticket in the 5th race and a couple win bets. So in the 5th race, we're going to start out with the 1, 2, 4. With the 3, 5, 7. With the 1, 6. With the 2, 5. With the 1, 3, 4, 8, and 9. Now today, that pick 5 ticket costs $90 today, which I think is a worthwhile play. And then we've got the 2 win bets. In the 6th race, we've got the 7-horse, Man-Child. And then in the 8th race, we've got the 2-horse, Self-Sufficient. So if you see fit to play the ticket as is, I wish you the best of luck. You can add or subtract, maybe play the pick 3s or the pick 4 within it or that late pick 3, turf pick 3. Those all seem to pay very nicely. Whatever you decide to do, I wish you the best of luck today. And let's wish the folks over at Santa Anita a very safe racing and a happy Mother's Day to all there. Hope they have a nice day and enjoy themselves. So I really appreciate you watching and listening to the picks here at Fast Horses today. Thank you so much for subscribing. We've had some new subscribers lately. I appreciate you. And if you haven't done so, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost anything. It just puts you on the feed and new content gets served up to you. You can like, dislike, make comments. Let's create a discussion. So thanks again to everybody. Happy Mother's Day. And let's finish this week up strongly at Santa Anita, the great race place. Thank you.